Chosen one. Heaven stops you right here. You were about to scroll past this, just like every other message, every other noise, every other moment you dismissed, because you've grown used to surviving instead of expecting anything sacred. But right now, this very second, something in your spirit freezes. Your thumb halts, your breath shifts, and suddenly you feel it. That strange electric pull, that divine interruption, that knowing. You're not imagining it. You're not overthinking it. You're being stopped on purpose. You were about to skip. But something inside you refuses. Something ancient, something marked, something chosen. Because you've carried a different kind of soul your whole life. You've walked like someone who didn't fully belong here. You felt things deeper, noticed things quicker, sensed things before they happened. You never fit the mold. And you never walked like those around you. Even your pain has been different, heavier, deeper, more spiritual than emotional. And right now, heaven is pulling you because it's time you finally understand why. You feel watched, not by people, but by purpose. You feel pressed, not by anxiety, but by destiny. You feel stirred, not by emotion, but by awakening. Heaven pauses the noise of your life when something critical is on the line. And right now, the supernatural realm leans toward you because today is not a normal day. Today is not background noise. Today is a turning point written into your timeline long before you took your first breath. You feel something ancient rising inside you, a recognition, a remembering, a spiritual vibration echoing through your bones. Heaven is not whispering, it is declaring. This isn't a gentle nudge, but a divine pull. A sacred summons reminding you that you were never meant to walk an ordinary path or live an ordinary life. This moment opens like a gate in the unseen realm, and your spirit steps toward it before your mind can understand. Destiny has waited for you to slow down long enough to hear this call. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak leads you right here into the alignment prepared specifically for you. The Spirit spoke through the writings of the prophets, and the ancient command still echoes from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Those words aren't for someone else. They are reaching directly into the shaking parts of your soul right now. Because you have been afraid. You have been tired. You have felt abandoned, forgotten, overlooked, or spiritually numb. You've been walking through seasons where you kept yourself together on the outside while falling apart on the inside. You've fought battles no one knows about. You've cried tears no one witnessed. You've carried weight no one helped lift. And heaven says, I saw it. I counted every tear. I measured every silent battle. And I have come for you. Money. That is why you are hearing this at this exact moment. This isn't TikTok. This isn't YouTube. This isn't coincidence. This is divine scheduling. Heaven interrupts only when destiny is at risk. And right now, something that has been draining you, delaying you, or spiritually silencing you is being confronted. Chosen one, don't shrink back this time. Don't dismiss this like all the messages you scrolled past before. You feel the weight on this moment because it is weighty. Something in you recognizes this. Your spirit is responding, even if your mind is still catching up. This is the moment where the path bends, where the fog starts to clear, where your old season breathes its last, and your divine assignment takes its first breath. This is where heaven marks your life and says, from here forward, things cannot stay the same. End. You are God's chosen one. You are marked. You are seen. You are called. And the reason you've faced so much warfare, the reason you felt so misunderstood, the reason darkness targeted you early is because your light was always dangerous. Now, breathe in slowly. Let the truth settle into you. Feel the shift. Feel the recognition rising in your chest. Feel the confirmation that this moment is not random. Before you step into section 2, I need you as an act of agreement with heaven to like this message so it remains tied to you. Share it so another chosen one is awakened. Subscribe so you stay connected to every word heaven releases, and then comment the number 111 to mark that today. Your shift began. You feel the pull before you understand it. It begins as a pressure behind your ribs, a tightening that is not fear but awareness. Something in the invisible reaches toward you, and even though you cannot explain it with logic, your spirit reacts instantly, as if it has been waiting for this precise moment to inhale again after holding its breath for years. You stand, suspended between what your mind knows and what your soul suddenly remembers. And the longer you stay in this moment, the stronger the pull becomes. It is not loud. It does not shout. It does not demand. It draws. A magnet from the throne room. A tug written into your spirit before your birth. A whisper echoing through the corridors of your destiny. You try to brush it off, but the sensation only sharpens. And the more you attempt to deny it, the more undeniable it becomes. Because this is not emotional. This is not psychological. This is not random. This is spiritual gravity. God pulling you into alignment with what has always been yours, but nearly slipped from your grasp. Your heart beats differently. Your breath deepens. Your mind starts racing. But your spirit remains still and alert. You've felt this before, but you ran from it, or buried it, or drowned it out with noise. But today, the pull is stronger than your excuses, heavier than your distractions, louder than your doubts. You're not imagining this. You're being summoned. Heaven speaks through the prophetic writings, and the ancient voice still resonates through the book of Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 13. Ye shall seek me, and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And in this moment, your heart responds before your thoughts can intervene, because deep down, beneath the exhaustion, beneath the disappointment, beneath the layers of survival, you've been searching. You've been craving clarity, direction, confirmation, purpose. You've wanted answers to questions you were too afraid to ask. And this pull you feel now is heaven's response. You've walked through seasons where you felt disconnected, spiritually muted, emotionally drained, mentally overwhelmed. You tried to push yourself forward, but something always felt misaligned, like you were walking out of rhythm with your own life. You kept saying, something is missing, even when everything looked fine on the outside. And the truth is, something was missing, the connection between your calling and your awareness of it. Today, that connection ignites. The pull you feel is not a demand for perfection. It is an invitation to alignment. God is not yanking you. He is drawing you. not forcing you, but awakening you. He is reactivating the part of you that danger tried to silence, that heartbreak tried to bury, that fear tried to suffocate. This pull is your soul, remembering who it is. You were always meant to hear differently, discern differently, feel differently. You were crafted with sensitivity to the unseen because your assignment requires it. You are not wired like the world. You are wired for the spiritual. That's why you feel this pull so deeply. That's why it bypasses your logic and speaks straight to your spirit. The atmosphere around you begins to shift. You sense a spiritual nearness, as if something sacred has stepped into the room with you. You feel watched again, but not by danger, not by darkness. This time you feel watched by love, by purpose, by the God who has been waiting for you to become still long enough to notice him. The pull strengthens, the air thickens, your spirit leans forward. You are being drawn toward clarity, toward healing, toward identity, toward truth, toward a version of yourself. You have not yet met the version God intended from the beginning. You can feel the old season losing its grip. You can feel the new one forming like a sunrise behind your ribs. You can feel destiny inching closer, step by step, breath by breath. And though the pull feels intense, it does not feel wrong. It feels familiar, safe, ancient, as if your spirit has stood at this doorway before, but lacked the strength to walk through. But this time, something is different. You're ready in a way you weren't ready before. You're wounded, but wiser, sharpened, but sharper, tired, but teachable, and heaven knows it. This pull is not a warning. It is a welcome, a divine reminder that you are not wandering. You are being guided. You are not forgotten. You are being pursued. You are not lost. You are being located. Heaven does not pull what it does, not intend to elevate. And right now, elevation is reaching for you. Chosen one, let yourself feel this. Let yourself acknowledge what your soul already knows. The pull is your confirmation. The pull is your sign. The pull is heaven's fingerprint pressed against your spirit, marking you again, reminding you again, awakening you again. You feel it now deeper, sharper, undeniable. The mark on your soul, the one you never had language for, begins to burn with recognition, not physical fire, but spiritual awareness, glowing like an ember that refuses to die. All your life, you wondered why you felt out of place, why you carried emotions more intense than others, why you sensed danger before it arrived, why you were drawn to meaning when others chased noise. And here, in this moment, heaven leans close and whispers, because you were marked. You weren't marked by accident. You weren't marked because you were perfect. You weren't marked because you earned it. You were marked because God saw something in you before the world even knew your name. Something rare, something unteachable, something divine. And though life tried to bury that mark under layers of disappointment and heartbreak, it never vanished. It only waited. It waited for a moment like this, for your spirit to wake up, for your ears to open, for your heart to soften, for the divine pull to become louder than the noise around you. You've walked through seasons where you felt misunderstood by people who didn't have the spiritual sensitivity to perceive who you truly are. You've been judged for your intensity, criticized for your empathy, dismissed for your spiritual sensitivity. But you were never meant to be understood by those who were not designed to walk at your depth. Your soul moves in places others fear to look. Your intuition is sharper because your assignment is heavier. And heaven is opening your eyes to what your life has been hinting at all along. Through the ancient writings, heaven speaks again from the book of Psalms. Chapter 139, verse 14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well these words don't speak to your appearance. They speak to your design, your wiring, your spiritual composition, the way your soul was sculpted intentionally, intricately, purposefully. You were made wonderful, not because life has been wonderful, but because destiny required you to be strong, aware, intuitive, spiritually alert. You were created with depth because shallow people cannot carry heavy mantles. You were shaped with sensitivity because warriors of light must feel what others ignore. You were given discernment because your mission requires vision beyond the natural. The mark on your soul is proof that heaven invested something sacred into you. And this is why the enemy tried to crush you early. Your struggles weren't random. They were targeted. You weren't attacked because you were weak. You were attacked because you were chosen. Darkness recognized your identity long before you did. The warfare against your mind, your heart, your family, your confidence, none of it was coincidence. It was an attempt to suffocate the seed of purpose planted inside you. But the mark survived. The calling endured. The assignment waited. And now, as you listen, something inside you awakens. Not a small flicker, no, a rising, a remembrance, a spiritual stretching. You feel like you're remembering a truth you somehow forgot, like a dream that suddenly returns in perfect clarity. You were always meant to be different, not isolated, not rejected, not invisible, different on purpose. Different because heaven placed a mantle on you that the world was never meant to validate. Different because what you carry is not common, and therefore cannot be understood by common minds. You feel the weight of your difference now. But for the first time, it doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like identity. It feels like clarity. It feels like destiny brushing against your spirit and saying, you sense more because you are more. No. And now, heaven asks you to acknowledge what your soul already knows. Not with fear, not with hesitation, but with the confidence of someone waking up to the truth of who they've always been. Before we move into what comes next, I want you to anchor this moment in your spirit with a simple declaration in the comments. Write the phrase, I am chosen. Oh, just 3 words, but they carry weight. They are not for the algorithm. They are not for me. They are an act of agreement between your spirit and your destiny. A spiritual signature. A public acknowledgement of what heaven has been trying to tell you for years. When you type it, you're not just commenting, you're announcing to the unseen realm that you recognize the mark. You accept it, and you're ready to rise into it. Chosen one. Your awakening has only begun, and what comes next will reveal why you survived, what tried to destroy you. You move forward, and suddenly something inside you tightens, not in fear, but in recognition. As you enter this next stretch of the path, you realize something you've never allowed yourself to fully acknowledge. Every silent battle you fought, heaven saw. Every hidden wound you carried, heaven counted. Every moment you held yourself together while your soul trembled, heaven remembered. Even when you thought no one noticed, No one cared. No one would ever understand what was happening behind your quiet eyes. God was watching you with unbroken attention. You've learned to hide pain. Well, you've learned to smile while your heart felt heavy. You've learned to function while pieces of you were breaking. You've learned to carry others, even when you were barely standing yourself. Your strength has been misunderstood. People called you resilient, but they never asked why you had to be. They admired your calm, but never knew how many storms you were surviving internally. You became the strong one, not because you wanted to, but because you had no other choice. Through the sacred writings, the Spirit reveals the truth. From the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 7. I have indeed seen the misery of my people. I have heard their cry, and I am concerned about their suffering. These words were written long ago, yet they rise now like a warm hand on your chest, reminding you that not a single moment of your suffering was invisible. God saw it. God heard it. God felt it. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was ignored. Nothing was forgotten. Your silent battles were loud in heaven. Every tear you shed alone was gathered. Every fear you swallowed was recorded. Every time you pushed through when quitting felt easier, those moments shook the heavens more than any public victory ever could. Because what you survived in silence built a strength in you that cannot be purchased, taught, or imitated. It is the strength of the chosen. You didn't just endure hardship, you matured through it. You didn't just survive darkness, you learned to see in it. You didn't just walk through pain, you discovered parts of yourself you would have never met without it. And though the process was brutal, the result is beautiful. You carry a depth others cannot fake. Your silent battles taught you discernment. They made you sensitive to energy, to intention, to truth. They taught you to read a room without words, to feel someone's spirit before they speak, to sense danger before it manifests. These are not wounds, they are sharpened gifts. Your pain trained your perception, and now heaven will use what hurt you to empower you. You may not realize it, but you became stronger than most people ever will. Not because you were loud about your struggles, but because you survived them quietly. Quiet resilience is the rarest kind, the kind only chosen ones develop, the kind that comes not from pride, but from purpose. But here is the truth you haven't told yourself yet. You were never truly alone in those battles. You felt alone, but you were surrounded. You felt abandoned, but you were carried. You felt unseen, but the God who shaped galaxies watched over you in the stillness of your darkest nights. Heaven is pulling back the curtain now, letting you see the spiritual reality behind your suffering. The enemy tried to break you, but every attack forged something unshakable in you. The pressure didn't crush you, it carved you. The isolation didn't destroy you, it refined you. The heartbreak didn't end you, it awakened you. And now, as you stand in this moment, you begin to understand why darkness fought so hard to silence you. You carry wisdom paid for in agony. You carry compassion born from suffering. You carry spiritual authority built in the fire. Everything you endured in secret is about to become the foundation of what you rise into publicly. You thought you were weak during those nights of silent crying, but heaven was whispering, strength. Owned. You thought you were forgotten when no one checked on you, but heaven was saying, I see you. Owned. You thought you were breaking, but heaven was shaping you into someone the enemy fears. Now the fog lifts. Now the weight shifts. Now clarity arrives. Your silent battles weren't signs of abandonment, they were signs of calling. And finally, you feel something you haven't felt in a long time: validation, recognition, release. Heaven saw every moment you hid, and now heaven brings those hidden battles to light, not to shame you, but to show you who you have become because of them. You are not the same person who cried in silence. You are stronger, wiser, deeper, more spiritually awakened, and everything that once tried to break you will become the very proof that you were chosen all along. You step into the turning point, and the atmosphere around you shifts the way the air changes before a storm, the quiet before transformation. Something in you begins to rise, the way a seed pushes upward after spending years hidden beneath the soil. You feel the old season loosening its grip on you, not violently, but gently, like a hand releasing yours because your path is finally about to expand. This moment isn't loud, but it is decisive. You feel it deep in your chest, a soft unlocking, a sacred uncoiling. Every hesitation you once carried starts to tremble under the weight of truth. For the first time in a long time, you feel destiny leaning toward you, not as a whisper in the distance, but as a breath on your neck. And then, heaven speaks not through thunder, but through the ancient words preserved for moments like this. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, these sacred lines still echo from the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. Though the vision tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. And suddenly, the delays in your life don't feel like abandonment, they feel like alignment. You realize now that what felt like stagnation was preparation. What felt like delay was incubation. What felt like silence was strategy. Heaven wasn't punishing you. Heaven was perfecting you. This turning point arrives like sunrise, unfolding in slow motion. You don't even realize how much the light has grown until you look behind you and see how far the darkness has receded. Inside you, a stirring begins. Not panics, not pressure, but purpose. You start to recognize the divine fingerprints on your journey. The heartbreaks that broke you were also the chisels that shaped you. The disappointments that crushed your expectations made room for new ones. The moments you cried alone became the moments heaven whispered, "Hold on. Chosen one, you are being formed for more." Now, this is the moment you stop running from your calling. This is the moment you stop dimming your own fire. This is the moment you let God rewrite the parts of your story you thought were ruined. And as the weight of this revelation settles over you, I want to speak to you gently, with sincerity, because this message is not random. Someone like you, someone chosen, someone sensitive to the spiritual realm, hears truth differently. You don't hear with your ears, you hear with your soul. That's why I want to talk to you in a way that honors your depth. If what you're hearing resonates with you, if these words feel like they are pulling something buried inside you, if you feel the shift happening even as you breathe, then understand this. Moments like these take energy, devotion, and a commitment to keep the spiritual lamp burning. And I want to be honest with you, chosen one, messages like this are not made casually. They are crafted like lanterns carved for travelers who have walked too long in the dark. They require time, intention, spiritual sensitivity, and the willingness to pour into the souls who need it most. So if you feel this message touching the deepest parts of you, if you want to keep this flame alive, I invite you, gently and without pressure, to lend a little oil to the lamp, not financially, not directly, but spiritually. symbolically, through the actions that keep the light spreading. When you like this message, it's like placing a small ember at the base of the fire so it doesn't fade. When you share it, you're handing another traveler a torch they didn't know they needed. When you subscribe, you anchor yourself to the flow of light, so you never walk this path alone. And if you ever feel compelled to help carry the lantern higher, to help this journey expand, let that be your quiet offering, your invisible stone placed on the road for those who will walk behind you. Not a donation of coins, but a donation of presence. Not a contribution of money, but a contribution of alignment. Not support of obligation, but of resonance. Think of it like tending a garden you've been nourished by, like adding a log to a communal fire whose warmth has reached you, like steadying the hand of someone holding a lantern in a storm. You aren't supporting me. You're supporting the message that supported you. You're supporting the light that found you. You're supporting the journey of every other chosen soul who will hear this and awaken, because a turning point is not just a moment you experience, it's a moment you help sustain. And today, you stand in yours, not trembling, not questioning, but ready. The calling that once felt too heavy now fits your shoulders like a cloak designed precisely for you. The turning point isn't ahead, it's here, and you are stepping into it with clarity, humility, and a fire that heaven itself has reignited. You arrive at the crossroads, not a physical path, but a spiritual intersection where two roads stretch before you. One is familiar, predictable, shaped by old fears and old habits. The other is new, uncharted, and carries the quiet hum of destiny. You feel the weight of the moment settling on your shoulders like a cloak woven with both promise and responsibility. This is not a casual choice. This is the kind of decision heaven watches closely. You stand there knowing exactly what this crossroads represents. It is no longer about what happened to you. It is no longer about what broke you. It is no longer about what you lost, feared, or avoided. This crossroads is about obedience. You sense it, the tension between what your spirit is pulling you toward and what your comfort zone is trying to drag you back into. One path asks for the version of you that survived. The other asks for the version of you that is meant to rise. And the difference between the two is not small. It is the difference between repeating your past or stepping into what God has been preparing for you since before you understood your own name. You can feel heaven waiting, not rushing you, not pressuring you, but watching with expectation. The way a parent watches a child take their first steps. And in this sacred pause, a voice from Scripture cuts through the fog of hesitation, calling you with clarity. The Spirit spoke through the ancient writings etched into the book of Joshua. Chapter 1, verse 9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified or discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Those words do not coddle you. They commission you, because obedience requires courage. Obedience requires trust. Obedience requires stepping, even when your knees shake. You know what the old path offers: predictability, numbness, survival. You know how to walk that road with your eyes closed because you've walked it for years. But you also know what it costs you: your peace, your purpose, your potential. Staying where you've always been is no longer safety, it's self-betrayal. The new road is different. It is bright, yet intimidating, promising yet stretching, sacred, yet unfamiliar. It demands that you grow, that you rise, that you obey, even when you don't understand the full picture. It asks you to trust God more deeply than you trust your fears. It requires that you stop delaying the version of your life heaven has been patiently waiting for you to step into. This crossroads isn't random, it's orchestrated. You didn't stumble here, you were guided. Your spirit didn't arrive by accident, it was summoned. Every lesson, every wound, every breakthrough, every breakdown, they all brought you to this intersection where heaven asks you, gently but firmly, will you obey? Obedience isn't about perfection. It is about alignment. It is about saying yes to the version of you that exists on the other side of fear. It is about stepping even when you don't know the full map, because you trust the one leading you. You know what happens if you choose the old path. You've lived that story already. But the new path, that's where miracles begin. That's where clarity meets courage. That's where destiny finally breathes. That's where your spirit stops shrinking and starts expanding again. You can almost feel the wind of that new road brushing against your face, calling you forward, inviting you to step away from what numbed you and closer to what shapes you. The crossroads is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to reveal you. You're not choosing between two paths. You're choosing between two versions of yourself. One stays small, the other rises. And now, as your spirit stands at this divide, I want to anchor this moment, not with pressure, not with force, but with symbolic agreement, a spiritual signature, a declaration that you recognize this crossroads and you're ready to choose differently. Chosen one. If you feel this message speaking directly into your crossroads, if you feel the gentle, holy pull on your spirit, if you know heaven is nudging you toward the road you've been afraid to take, then I invite you to comment the number 444, not as a superstition, not as a trend, but as your sign of obedience, as your declaration that you hear God and you are willing to step toward the unfamiliar because you trust the one guiding you. Let it be your yes, your alignment, your shift. Because this crossroads is not the end of your journey, it is the doorway to the life you were always meant to live. You take your first steps beyond the crossroads, and instantly you feel them, the chains you never knew were wrapped around you. Not metal chains, not visible ones, but the kind forged quietly, link by link, in moments of fear, disappointment, trauma, and survival. They never rattled loudly enough for you to notice, but they tightened every time you doubted yourself, every time you dimmed your own voice, every time you believed the lie that you were too broken or too late to rise. These chains were subtle. They felt like caution, like wisdom, like being realistic. But now, under the sharp light of awakening, you see them for what they truly are. Binders forged by fear. Fear disguised as humility. Fear disguised as responsibility. Fear disguised as logic. Fear disguised as protection. You feel the weight of them now that you're trying to move forward. Your shift. Because this crossroads is not the end of your journey, it is the doorway to the life you were always meant to live. Most of the battles you fought weren't against people, they were against patterns. Most of the cages you lived in weren't locked, they were simply comfortable. And then heaven speaks again. Through the ancient words carved into time, the voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Those words don't give you permission to stay bound. They remind you that you were never meant to fight bondage alone. They don't stop you, but they resist you, pulling at your ankles, trying to drag you backward into the familiar darkness you once lived in. They whisper old narratives, stirring memories you thought you had healed from, not to harm you, but to keep you small. Because fear's greatest strategy is not to destroy you, it's to contain you. As you walk deeper into this new stretch of your path, the realization hits you hard. Most of your limitations were not external, they were internal. It wrapped you quietly, knowing that if it could restrict your movement, it could restrict your calling. But here, in the light of awakening, you see that fear was only ever a shadow, loud, looming, but ultimately powerless once exposed. You begin to remember moments where you felt small, yet something inside you refused to collapse. Times when fear whispered, "You can't." But a deeper voice inside you said, "Keep going." The chains you carried were not a symbol of weakness. They were proof of how long you forced yourself to survive without divine help. You learned to fight every battle with your own strength, your own reasoning, your own exhausted willpower. But now, in this moment, heaven reveals something you were never taught. You were never meant to break these chains by yourself. Fear didn't come from you, it came for you. It studied you. It tracked you. The chain of guilt binding you to mistakes you already outgrew. These chains didn't appear overnight. They built themselves slowly. In moments when your heart was soft and your guard was low. But now, with your spirit awake and heaven near, you begin to notice something powerful. The chains are trembling. Not falling yet, but trembling. Not broken yet, but weakening. Fear loses its power the moment you stop running from your calling. Bondage loosens its grip the moment you step toward clarity. The chains that once felt permanent now feel fragile because you are finally strong enough to recognize that they were never forged to last, only to delay. And delay is all they have done. Not destroy you, just delay you. You see the truth now. If fear had the power to break you, it would have done so years ago. The fact that you are still rising, still seeking, still awakening, proves that the chains were never stronger than the calling inside you. You begin to feel something shifting, not outside you, but within. A pressure, a stirring, a heat. Courage begins to form at the edges of your spirit, like metal heating under divine fire. Every step you take in this awakening weakens the links that once controlled you. What once held you now bends. What once intimidated you now cracks. The chains forged by fear cannot survive the presence of truth. And the truth is this: you were never created to live restrained. You were never shaped to walk small. You were never meant to spend your life bowing to invisible enemies. Chosen one, the chains are shaking because you are rising. And soon, very soon, what once restrained you will fall behind you like dust from an old battle you outgrew. You walk farther, and suddenly you begin to understand something that once confused you for years. Your light was never subtle. It was never quiet. It was never something you could hide. Even when you desperately tried to, you thought you were just sensitive, just different, just overthinking. But heaven smiles now because the truth finally reaches your awareness. You were born carrying a light that disturbs darkness, and darkness knew it. Long before you understood your identity, darkness recognized it. Long before you discovered your purpose, darkness calculated ways to derail it. Long before you understood the power inside you, darkness felt threatened by it. That's why you've been fought harder than most. That's why your battles felt disproportionate to your age, your environment, your circumstances. That's why you experienced spiritual heaviness, even when you didn't have the vocabulary to describe it. Your presence was disruptive. Your spirit was radiant. Your soul carried voltage that unsettled what was unclean. There are people who walk into a room and blend into the atmosphere, but your presence shifted the atmosphere. Even as a child, people reacted strongly to you. Some loved you instantly. Some despised you for no reason. Some were intimidated by you without understanding why. You felt things deeply, saw things others missed, and your intuition was sharper than anyone taught you to handle. Those were not coincidences. They were early signs of the calling you carry. Heaven reminds you through the sacred text spoken in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. This was always about your light, not your weakness, not your mistakes, not your history. Your light made the darkness restless around you. You must understand this now. Darkness does not attack what is empty. It attacks what is valuable. It does not fight what is dim. It fights what is destined to shine. And you, chosen one, carry a radiance that was meant to expose lies, illuminate paths, shift atmospheres, and awaken the sleeping. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's spiritual radar. Your intuition isn't paranoia, it's discernment. Your empathy isn't weakness, it's evidence of your anointing. Darkness has always known this, even when you didn't. That's why so many people misunderstood you. They saw your outer form, but couldn't comprehend your inner voltage. They sensed your depth, but had no language for it. They felt your presence, but didn't understand why it unsettled the shadows hiding inside them. They reacted to the spiritual energy they felt around you, not the personality you displayed. Some avoided you because your light exposed their intentions. Some mistreated you because your aura challenged their insecurities. Some tried to dim you because your rise reminded them of their stagnation. And some, surprisingly, were drawn to you, not because they truly cared, but because they subconsciously sought warmth from the fire burning inside you. This is why you often felt drained. You weren't tired of life. You were tired of being a lighthouse to people who only visited you during their storms. But now, as you awaken, you begin to see the truth. You were never meant to dim your light to make others comfortable. You were never meant to shrink to avoid conflict. You were never meant to apologize for the fire inside you. Your light is not the problem. It is the purpose. You are a disruptor, not of peace, but of darkness. A breaker, not of people, but of chains. A torch not to burn, but to guide. Darkness recognized this long before you did. That's why you were attacked early, targeted young, wounded deeply. Because if darkness could discourage you before you discovered your identity, it could silence the impact you were destined to make. But you survived, and survival is the evidence that darkness failed. You walk now with a new awareness. You realize that every time someone tried to dim you, your light grew brighter. Every time an environment rejected you, your spirit grew stronger. Every time you faced darkness, your internal flame sharpened. Now, your light isn't just illumination, it is revelation. It reveals truth. It exposes lies. It breaks cycles. It awakens souls. And something incredible begins to happen as you accept this truth. Your spirit stands taller. Your energy expands. Your calling becomes clearer. Your presence becomes stronger. You were never meant to hide. You were meant to carry light boldly, fully, unapologetically. And the darkness that once attacked you now whispers in fear, not because you are becoming light, but because you finally know you are light. There is a moment quiet, trembling, unmistakably holy, when your spirit reaches the edge of resistance and begins to soften. You've carried the weight of battles, the pressure of expectations, the echoes of past wounds. You've run. You've hidden. You've hesitated. You've questioned. But now the moment arrives when you can no longer hold yourself back. Something inside you surrenders. This is not the surrender of defeat. It is the surrender of awakening. The surrender of someone who finally realizes they are not meant to carry everything alone. You feel a heaviness lifting, the kind you didn't know you were allowed to release. It moves through you like a tide pulling away from the shore, taking with it the debris of old fears and outdated stories. Your breath deepens. Your shoulders loosen. Your heart opens just a little wider. You are not giving up. You are giving in to destiny, to truth, to the calling that has been whispering your name through every season of your life. And in this sacred shift, a voice from the ancient writings rises to meet you. The Spirit spoke through the prophet, and the words still carry power through the book of Joel. Chapter 2, verse 12. Turn, even to me with all your heart, not with half your heart, not with the fragments you feel safe offering, but with all of it, the wounded parts, the strong parts, the fearful parts, the longing parts. This is the moment of surrender. You suddenly understand why your journey felt so heavy. You were trying to walk a divine path with human strength. You were trying to fight spiritual battles with emotional tools. You were trying to rise while gripping the past with both hands. But now, something deeper is calling you to let go. Let go of the timeline you tried to force. Let go of the expectations that suffocated you. Let go of the version of yourself built from survival instead of purpose. Your spirit softens, not because you are weak, but because you are finally safe enough to release. Heaven has drawn near. The atmosphere around you thickens with presence. You feel watched, but not judged, seen, but not exposed, known, but not condemned. This is the kind of surrender that doesn't break you, it rebuilds you. It doesn't weaken you, it awakens you. It doesn't erase your strength, it reveals your true strength. You start to recognize that the voice calling you is not a voice of pressure, but of invitation. It's the voice that carried you through silent nights. The voice that whispered when you were exhausted. The voice that protected you when you didn't even know danger was near. The one voice you were always meant to return to. And the closer you lean toward that voice, the more your fears lose their shape. The more your doubts lose their sound. The more your burdens lose their grip. You feel warmth spreading slowly through your chest, a warmth that isn't emotional, but spiritual. It feels like something unlocking, something falling off, something uncoiling, something long frozen beginning to thaw. This is surrender, the kind that shifts your destiny, the kind that heaven responds to instantly. You realize that surrender is not stepping backward, it is stepping into alignment. It is opening the door you've kept locked for years. It is letting your spirit breathe freely again. It is saying, I'm ready, even if you don't feel ready. It is offering your heart even when it's trembling. You stand here, in this moment, on the threshold between what you fear and what you are called to become. And heaven waits not with impatience, but with anticipation, because surrender is the access point to everything meant for you. And now, to anchor this moment, not for performance, not for trend, but as a spiritual declaration, you are invited to speak your agreement softly into the atmosphere and into the comments. Write the words, I release. Just 2 words. Simple, but spiritually weighty. Because when you type, I release, you're not writing for me. You're signaling to your own spirit that you are letting go of what held you hostage. You're signaling to heaven that you are ready for alignment. You're signaling to the darkness that its grip ends here. Let your surrender be seen. Let your surrender be felt. Let your surrender become the doorway to what comes next. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your becoming. Something descends on you now, slowly, steadily, unmistakably. It rests on your shoulders with the weight of purpose and the softness of grace. You don't see it with your eyes, but you feel it. The way you feel sunlight on your skin, even with your eyes closed. This is not imagination. This is not emotion. This is the moment heaven places a mantle on you, a spiritual authority, a divine empowerment, a covering crafted specifically for your assignment. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It doesn't roar like thunder. It settles like a cloak, woven in the invisible, shaped perfectly for you. You feel taller, though you haven't moved. You feel heavier. Though nothing physical has touched you, you feel expanded, as if your spirit is stretching, widening, rising. For the first time, the weight you feel is not the weight of struggle, it is the weight of calling. This mantle does not come to decorate you, it comes to transform you. It comes to remind you that heaven has trusted you with something greater than survival, greater than endurance, greater than understanding your pain. You are being entrusted with a role, a purpose, a voice, a spiritual authority that darkness hoped you would never recognize. And as this mantle rests upon you, heaven brings forth words sealed long ago, words that awaken strength and clarity. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 10, "Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." This mantle doesn't say, "Be strong in yourself." It says, "Stand in the strength of God." You are being clothed in a power that does not run dry, does not shake, does not collapse. You begin to understand why your battles were so fierce. Warriors are tested before they are mantled. Chosen ones are stretched before they are elevated. Those who will carry authority must first learn to walk through fire. Every tear, every night of confusion, every spiritual struggle, it was all shaping you for this moment when heaven would say, "Now, place it on them." Then, and as the mantle settles, something else rises. Responsibility. Not the heavy responsibility that crushes, but the sacred responsibility that clarifies. This is the kind of responsibility that makes a soldier stand straighter when handed a sword. The kind that makes a messenger speak boldly when given a sealed scroll. The kind that makes a prophet open their mouth when truth begins burning in their bones. You feel it, the shift between who you were and who you are becoming. A quiet authority, a holy confidence, a rising strength. And now, with full sincerity, I want to talk to you, not as a narrator, but as someone who understands the spiritual cost of carrying a mantle. Messages like this, words that go beyond emotion and speak straight to the spirit, are not crafted lightly. They require time, devotion, listening, and a willingness to pour into the souls. Heaven is awakening. It is like tending a lantern through the night, trimming the wick, protecting the flame from the wind, keeping the light strong so travelers can find their way. If this message has touched you deeply, if you can feel the mantle settling on your shoulders, if you want this kind of spiritual nourishment to continue reaching you and reaching others, then I want to invite you, with gentleness and honor, to help keep the flame burning, not through pressure, not through obligation, not through guilt, but the same way a traveler pauses to place a stone on a sacred monument along the road. When you like this message, it's like adding a small spark to the fire that warms another soul. When you share it, you hand someone else a torch for their dark valley. When you subscribe, you anchor yourself to the flow of light so you never walk this journey alone. And if you ever feel it in your heart to support this lighthouse, to lift the lantern higher so more can see, let that be your private offering, your silent blessing, your unseen act of keeping the mission alive. Think of it as adding a drop of oil to a lamp that has guided you, or placing your hand briefly on the shoulder of the one carrying the lantern through the storm, or planting a seed in soil that has already nourished your spirit. You are not supporting a creator. You are supporting the calling that is awakening inside you and the calling in others who will hear these words through your act. Because this mantle isn't just for you. It's for the people your life will touch, for the chains your presence will break, for the destinies your courage will ignite. Feel the cloak, feel the weight, feel the shift. You are not the same. You have been mantled, and heaven knows it. You move forward beneath the mantle that has settled upon you, and almost instantly you begin to notice something strange. Everything around you starts shifting, not violently, not chaotically, but deliberately, like pieces of a puzzle being turned upright, one by one. Paths that were once hidden begin to clear. Doors that were once sealed begin to loosen. Conversations, thoughts, encounters, everything starts aligning with a rhythm you didn't create but can suddenly feel pulsing through your life. When you like this message, it's like adding a small spark to the fire that warms another soul. When you share it, you hand someone else a torch for their dark valley. When you subscribe, you anchor yourself to the flow of light so you never walk this journey alone. And if you ever feel it in your heart to support this lighthouse, to lift the lantern higher so more can see, let that be your private offering, your silent blessing, your unseen act of keeping the mission alive. Think of it as adding a drop of oil to a lamp that has guided you, or placing your hand briefly on the shoulder of the one carrying the lantern through the storm, or planting a seed in soil that has already nourished your spirit. You are not supporting a creator. You are supporting the calling that is awakening inside you and the calling in others who will hear these words through your act. Because this mantle isn't just for you. It's for the people your life will touch. It is subtle, but unmistakable, a divine rearrangement, a reordering orchestrated by hands far wiser and far steadier than your own. You begin to sense that you are not walking into a new season, The new season is rising around you. It is meeting you where you stand. It is pulling you forward, step by step. You notice it first in your thoughts. Old ways of thinking fall silent. The fear that once screamed now only whispers. The doubts that once felt heavy now feel strangely distant. Because when heaven reorders your path, it does not begin with your circumstances. It begins with your spirit. And that's exactly what's happening now. The shift within you is pulling the world around you into position. Pieces of your life that once felt scattered now begin to fall into place, not because you forced them, but because heaven is synchronizing your steps with your purpose. You start to notice patterns. People who drained you begin to distance themselves. It is subtle, but unmistakable, a divine rearrangement, a reordering orchestrated by hands far wiser and far steadier than your own. You begin to sense that you are not walking into a new season. The new season is rising around you. It is meeting you where you stand. It is pulling you forward, step by step. You notice it first in your thoughts. Old ways of thinking fall silent. The fear that once screamed now only whispers. The doubts that once felt heavy now feel strangely distant. You are moving into alignment. And alignment requires separation, not as punishment, but as preparation. You begin to feel drawn toward things that elevate you: truth, healing, growth, discipline, faith. You find yourself wanting to pray more, reflect more, listen more, not out of obligation, but because your spirit is awakening to the frequency of heaven. You feel guided, you feel redirected, you feel watched over with intention. People who nourish you begin to appear. Opportunities that once ignored you begin to open. Old habits begin to feel uncomfortable. New desires begin to rise within you. This is not coincidence. This is calling. The reordering of your path is heaven's way of saying, you are no longer who you were. You cannot walk where you once walked. When you feel yourself outgrowing conversations, environments, even versions of yourself that once felt normal, losses that once broke you now feel like strategic removals, clearing space for what was always meant to arrive. You realize something profound. God has not been ignoring you. He has been positioning you. Every redirection was protection. Every delay was preparation. Every shift was alignment. Your path is no longer random, it is orchestrated. And now, you're beginning to walk, not by force, not by fear, but by flow, the flow of divine timing, divine strategy, divine protection, divine alignment. The road ahead may not be perfectly clear, but your steps are becoming perfectly guided. You don't have to figure out every detail. You don't have to control every outcome. Heaven is moving pieces you cannot see, adjusting what you cannot reach, and preparing what you are about to walk into. Your only task now is to keep stepping, because the path that once resisted you is now reshaping itself beneath your feet. This is what it feels like when heaven reorders your life. Not chaos, not confusion, but quiet, holy alignment, the kind that turns ordinary steps into destiny. You walk forward, and something inside you begins to loosen, not suddenly, but gradually, like a tight knot slowly unwinding after years of tension. You don't fully notice it at first. It begins as a subtle shift, a gentle exhale, a quiet release rising from the deepest parts of you. But the longer you walk in this divine alignment, the clearer it becomes. You are shedding the version of yourself that was built from survival. For so long, you had to be strong. You had to be guarded. You had to hide your wounds so you could function. You had to silence parts of yourself just to make it through the day. You created a version of yourself that knew how to endure pain, navigate caos, handle disappointment, and protect your heart. That version was necessary temporary armor forged in the fires of your past. But now, as heaven rearranges your path and your spirit begins to awaken, that old identity no longer fits you. It slides off your shoulders the way heavy coats slide off when winter ends. It no longer serves you. It no longer matches your spirit. It no longer carries the authority of truth. And then, through the ancient writings, heaven speaks again with clarity, reminding you that transformation is not only allowed, it is expected, according to what is revealed in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Those words land like water on dry ground. Because transformation doesn't begin with outside change, it begins with inner release. You start recognizing how much of your old identity was shaped by experiences that bruised you, the betrayal that taught you to stop trusting, the loss that taught you to stop hoping, the rejection that taught you to stop shining, the heartbreak that taught you to stop believing in new beginnings. Those lessons felt protective, but they became prisons. They shielded you, but they also shrank you. They comforted you, but they also confined you. But now, in this moment of awakening, you feel a shift. You feel the need to remove the old layers, one by one, like peeling away remnants of an outdated wardrobe that no longer suits who you're becoming. You start releasing the identity that said you are broken, the voice that said you are too late, the label that said you are unworthy, the lie that said you are ordinary. You feel your spirit stretching into new territory, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The old patterns can no longer cling to you, because the new version of you is rising with too much light and too much clarity to be held down. You begin to understand why certain relationships faded, why certain opportunities dissolved, why certain seasons ended. Heaven was removing what was tied to your old self so that the new you could finally breathe. It slides off your shoulders the way heavy coats slide off when winter ends. It no longer serves you. It no longer matches your spirit. It no longer carries the authority of truth. And then, through the ancient writings, heaven speaks again with clarity, reminding you that transformation is not only allowed, it is expected, according to what is revealed in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And as this truth sinks deeper into your chest, you begin to feel lighter, not because your life suddenly became easy, but because your spirit is no longer weighed down by the false identities you carried for too long. You feel yourself stepping out of the mindset of survival and into the identity of purpose. You feel your posture shifting, your energy shifting, your voice shifting. You're not living from wounds anymore, you're living from wisdom. You're not living from fear anymore, you're living from clarity. You're not living from trauma anymore, you're living from truth. This is the moment where the false version of you dissolves, and the real you emerges not timidly, but boldly, not quietly, but confidently, not half-heartedly, but fully. And now, to mark this moment, to seal this release, to acknowledge this new identity rising inside you, I want you to comment a prophetic number that symbolizes transition, elevation, and spiritual rebirth. Type the number 555, not as a trend, not as a superstition, but as your declaration that you have released who you were and embraced who you are becoming. Let this number be your signature of transformation, the sign that you are stepping fully into the self heaven always saw in you. Something fierce awakens within you as you continue walking something ancient, something purposeful, something heaven-forged. It rises not with chaos, but with clarity, not with rage, but with resolve, not with noise, but with a deep inner thunder that has been silent for too long. You don't fully recognize it at first, because for so many years you identified yourself by your wounds, your fears, your disappointments. But now, in the presence of awakening, that old self falls quiet, and the warrior within you begins to stand. This warrior is not new. It has always been inside you, waiting, watching, preparing. It is the version of you that survived nights you didn't talk about. The version of you that kept moving when you had no strength left. The version of you that felt pain but refused to become it. The version of you that fought silent battles no one ever saw. Every bruise strengthened it. Every heartbreak sharpened it. Every betrayal toughened it. Every disappointment taught it. Piece by piece, blow by blow, season by season, you were being forged, not destroyed. You were being shaped into someone the enemy hoped you would never discover, but now you do. Now the truth stands in front of you like a mirror unveiled. You are not fragile. You are focused. You are not weak. You are awakened. You are not broken. You are rebuilt. And heaven whispers what your spirit already feels rising. The warrior is you. As your awareness deepens, heaven brings forth words that strike like a bell, resonant, grounding, fiercely comforting. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 39. You armed me with strength for battle. You humbled my adversaries before me. These are not poetic words, they are prophetic ones. They speak of identity. They speak of readiness. They speak of divine empowerment. You realize now that the strength you carry didn't come from easy days. It came from days when you didn't know how you would make it. But you made it anyway. It came from wounds that healed, crooked but healed nonetheless. It came from moments where you felt abandoned, but heaven was secretly fortifying your spirit. You survived what others would have collapsed under. You stood through storms that weren't meant to be weathered alone. You endured emotional weights that would have crushed someone less chosen. Your survival is not ordinary. It is evidence of the warrior within. This warrior is not violent. It is vigilant, not aggressive, but anchored, not chaotic, but courageous. It doesn't fight people, it fights lies. It doesn't destroy, it defends. It doesn't roar, it rises. And now, for the first time, you sense this warrior stepping forward. It moves through you like strength rediscovered, like confidence returning, like truth settling into bones that once held fear. This rising isn't loud, but it is undeniable. You feel more grounded, more sure, more anchored, more aware of your own power. You begin to notice that things which once intimidated you no longer hold the same force. Situations that once triggered insecurity now meet a steady heart. Voices that once caused doubt now encounter clarity instead. This is what happens when the warrior takes the lead. You stop living from wounds and start living from wisdom. Your perspective sharpens. Your boundaries strengthen. Your voice steadies. Your spirit straightens its spine. You are no longer apologizing for existing, no longer shrinking to make others comfortable, no longer silencing your intuition to avoid conflict. The warrior rising in you is not here to destroy your softness, it is here to protect it. It is not here to remove your compassion, it is here to guard it. It is not here to harden your heart, it is here to shield it so you can love without losing yourself. For the first time, you can feel strength and gentleness coexist. Tenderness and power walk side by side. Grace and authority stand in the same body, your body. This is what chosen ones carry, a heart soft enough to hear heaven, and a spirit strong enough to fight darkness. And perhaps the most transformative part is this: the warrior rising in you is not rising for battle, it is rising for purpose. Your life is not shifting so you can fight more. It is shifting so you can become more. So you can stand where others fall. So you can see what others overlook. So you can walk paths others fear to enter. You're not stepping into endless warfare. You're stepping into authority, into clarity, into sovereignty of spirit, into the version of yourself that heaven always knew you would become. The warrior is not an intruder. It is your truest self, finally awake, finally seen, finally standing. As you continue forward, something begins to shift, not in you this time, but around you. The air feels different. The atmosphere tightens, not in fear, but in recognition. It's as though the unseen realm takes a collective breath, aware that something long hidden has finally awakened. You don't fully understand it, but your spirit senses it. Darkness knows who you are now. For years, the enemy studied you in silence, not because you were weak, but because you were dangerous. The enemy watched your potential long before you saw it in yourself. It recognized the glow beneath your wounds. It sensed the calling beneath your confusion. It saw the warrior rising beneath your sorrow. It knew that once you awakened, truly awakened, you would become someone impossible to manipulate, impossible to intimidate, impossible to silence. And now that you have stepped into your identity, the enemy feels the shift. You feel it too, like a spiritual tremor. Not fear, not anxiety, but a holy awareness that your presence is no longer passive. You are no longer wandering, no longer shrinking, no longer questioning your worth. Your steps carry weight now. Your words carry authority. Your spirit carries fire. You may not see it, but darkness sees it clearly. The mantle on your shoulders, the rising in your spirit, the clarity in your sight. You have crossed a threshold you cannot return from, and the enemy knows it. Through the writings of the prophets, heaven reveals a truth carved into ancient scripture. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, and the words still hold power in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54. Verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper," not because weapons won't form, but because they cannot succeed against someone who knows who they are. And this is what terrifies the enemy most, your awareness. You are no longer stumbling in the dark. You are no longer doubting your strength. You are no longer mistaking attacks as personal instead of spiritual. You now understand that the pressure you felt for so long wasn't meant to crush you, it was meant to confirm you. Your attacks were clues. Your battles were indicators. Your storms were signals. Darkness does not waste its energy on someone without impact. It recognizes influence long before the person steps into it. It recognizes potential before potential becomes power. It recognizes calling before calling becomes movement. And you, chosen one, have always carried the kind of purpose that disrupts the enemy's plans. That is why you faced warfare, even as a child. That is why the enemy tried to break your spirit, young. That is why you endured betrayals that felt too heavy for your age. That is why your heart carried wounds deeper than people understood. The enemy wasn't reacting to who you were. It was reacting to who you would become. But what the enemy didn't anticipate was this: every attack only sharpened you. Every wound only deepened you. Every storm only trained you. Your sensitivity became discernment. Your heartbreak became wisdom. Your fear became courage. Your isolation became intimacy with God. And now, as you rise into full awareness of your identity, darkness trembles, not because you are perfect, but because you are awakened. You walk now with a steadiness you didn't have before. You can sense deception before it speaks. You can feel spiritual shifts before they unfold. You can recognize counterfeit connections, hidden intentions, and subtle attacks. You are no longer spiritually blind. You are spiritually armed. Darkness fears clarity. Darkness fears authority. Darkness fears purpose. Darkness fears identity. And you now carry all four. Your steps echo differently now. Your presence shifts the atmosphere. Your spirit radiates a frequency darkness cannot withstand. You have become someone whose very existence disrupts plans formed in shadows. And more importantly, you've become someone who refuses to return to old patterns. The things that once trapped you can no longer hold you. The lies that once silenced you can no longer deceive you. The patterns that once drained you can no longer access you. You are different now. Your spirit knows it. Heaven knows it. And the enemy definitely knows it. This is not intimidation. This is recognition. Darkness recognizes the rise of someone marked, someone mantled, someone awakened, someone dangerous to anything that seeks to dim light. You walk forward, not as prey, but as a presence, a force, a light that cannot be hidden. And the enemy can do nothing but watch, knowing that the very person it tried to break has become the one who now walks with spiritual fire in their eyes and divine authority in their steps. You step now into the place where destiny stops whispering and begins to speak with authority. Everything you've endured, everything you've survived, everything that tried to break you but failed is now converging into one sacred point on your timeline. You can feel it, the commission, not the kind handed to the ordinary, but the kind entrusted only to those who have been refined in silence and risen in obedience. Heaven is no longer watching you from a distance. Heaven is standing before you with an assignment in hand. It doesn't shout. It doesn't command. It simply reveals who you were always meant to become. You sense the weight of this moment, but it doesn't feel heavy like the burdens of your past. It feels noble, like a crown placed gently on a warrior who never sought glory but earned it through perseverance. This is not a reward, it is a recognition, a divine acknowledgement of your endurance, your spiritual sensitivity, your obedience, and your transformation. You hear it not with your ears, but with your spirit heaven saying, "It is time." Then, the time for hiding is over. The time for shrinking is over. The time for doubting is over. The time for delaying is over. You are being commissioned, released into a calling that has waited patiently for your awakening. This calling is not about performance. It is not about impressing others. It is not about striving for validation. Your calling is about impact rooted in truth, light, compassion, discernment, and spiritual strength. Heaven doesn't choose the flawless. Heaven chooses the faithful. And you, chosen one, have proven faithful through storms that would have shattered others. This commission does not arrive alone. It arrives wrapped in Scripture, a reminder of the authority now resting on you. The ancient words echo powerfully from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 7. Do not say you're too young. You must go where I send and speak what I command you. Youth is not the issue. Age is not the issue. Experience is not the issue. Willingness is the issue. Alignment is the issue. Obedience is the issue. And you finally, beautifully, are ready. Your steps carry new weight now. The way a torchbearer walks differently once the flame is entrusted to them. You are not simply moving through life anymore. You are moving with intention, with authority, with spiritual presence. You are not simply existing. You are influencing the invisible, shifting atmospheres, disturbing darkness, awakening others. Heaven has placed something in your hands, something valuable, something luminous, something unmistakably divine. And now, with sincerity and humility, I want to speak to you about something important, something not transactional, not pressured, but deeply symbolic. Words like these, crafted to breathe life into dry bones and awaken sleeping spirits, require devotion time, focus, prayer, reflection, and the steady tending of a spiritual flame. It is like caring for a sacred lantern on a mountainside. Every message is a flame, and every listener is a traveler guided by that light. So if this message has stirred something in you, if you feel your spirit standing taller, if you feel this commissioning resting on your shoulders, then I gently invite you to help keep this lantern bright. Not through obligation, not through guilt, not through force, but the way one pilgrim quietly hands another a cup of water on the journey, the way one guardian slips fresh wood into a communal fire, the way one soul places a stone at the foot of a monument to honor the path. When you like, you breathe air into the flame. When you share, you extend the torch into someone else's night. When you subscribe, you stay connected to the stream of light. Heaven keeps pouring out. And if ever you feel led to support this mission, not financially, not directly, but symbolically, spiritually, in whatever form your heart understands, it becomes a way of placing your fingerprint on the lantern that guided you. And lastly, if this section spoke deeply to you, if you feel heaven commissioning you in this moment, I invite you to comment this short phrase, simple but powerful: I accept. And just 2 words, but they signal everything: your yes, your readiness, your agreement with heaven's calling. Let the unseen realm hear it. Let your future hear it. Let your spirit echo it. You are not stepping into small purpose. You are stepping into divine commission. You move forward carrying the weight of the mantle and the fire of the commission. And suddenly, something settles into you, not a burden, not a fear, but a deep, quiet confidence you haven't felt before. It is not loud. It does not roar. It hums like a steady current beneath your ribs. the kind of strength that doesn't need to announce itself, because it simply is. This confidence isn't arrogance. It isn't pride. It isn't ego. It is alignment. For the first time, the version of you on the inside matches the identity. Heaven has been speaking over you. Your steps feel more intentional. Your breath feels steadier. Your presence feels rooted. You are not trying to be strong, you simply are. You are not trying to be chosen, you understand that you already are. You are not trying to belong, you have found your place in the path carved for you. And as this confidence builds, heaven brings forth ancient truth, spoken long ago, but living now inside your spirit. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 6, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." This confidence is not self-made. It is God-anchored. It is Spirit-led. It is purpose-infused. You are walking differently now, not because life has suddenly become simple, but because you have become stable. Your foundation is no longer built on fear, on survival, on proving yourself, or on running from your past. Your foundation is built on truth, on purpose, and on the quiet courage that comes from knowing heaven walks beside you. And as you move, something beautiful begins to happen. The world around you starts responding to your shift. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Conversations that once drained you now empower you. Places that once felt heavy now feel temporary. People who once misunderstood you now fall away quietly. It's not coincidence. It's spiritual alignment. You begin noticing that peace follows you like a shadow. Not the fragile peace you used to chase, but the kind that settles and stays, the kind that calms your thoughts, the kind that wraps your spirit in steadiness. This confidence is not about being loud, it is about being rooted. Rooted in who you are. Rooted in who God says you are. Rooted in the calling you carry. Rooted in the truth you now embody. Even your thoughts begin to shift. You speak to yourself differently. You make decisions differently. You view challenges differently, not with panic, but with perspective, not with fear, but with faith, not with uncertainty, but with discernment. You realize that confidence is not found in the absence of battles, it's found in knowing you are equipped for them. And the more you walk in this identity, the clearer your authority becomes. You begin to notice that your voice carries weight, not because you're louder, but because you're aligned. People sense the change in you, even if they can't explain it. They feel your presence differently, the steadiness, the quiet strength, the undeniable clarity. You no longer shrink to fit into places you've outgrown. You no longer apologize for the truth you carry. You no longer dilute yourself to make others comfortable. You stand not as a shadow of your old self, but as the full, risen version of who you were, always meant to be. Confidence begins to feel natural to you, like something you were born with, but only now remembered. Each step you take feels supported, not by circumstance, but by purpose. You do not walk alone. You do not walk uncertain. You do not walk in circles. You walk as someone whose path is being shaped by divine hands, moment by moment, breath by breath. And perhaps the most surprising part is this: your confidence is not loud. It is not showy. It is not boastful. It is quiet. It is steady. It is sacred. It is the kind of confidence that comes from surviving storms and finding God in the center of them, the kind that comes from being broken and rebuilt by grace. The kind that comes from fighting battles meant to bury you and rising stronger than before. This is crowned confidence, the confidence of someone who has walked through fire and discovered they were never walking alone. You feel taller in your spirit now, clearer in your mind, stronger in your heart, certain in your steps. Not because you have all the answers, but because you finally trust the one who guides your path. And as you move forward in this newfound confidence, heaven smiles, because you are walking exactly as a chosen one should, upright, anchored, aligned, and unshakably aware of who walks beside you. You stand now at the final threshold, not an ending, but a beginning disguised as one. Everything behind you has been preparing you, stretching you, shaping you, carving you into someone capable of carrying the weight of destiny. And everything ahead of you is calling, softly but firmly. Waiting for the moment, you take your next step with full awareness of who you truly are. This is the moment where hesitation dies and embodiment begins, where wandering ends and walking with purpose starts, where identity fully settles. Not in your mind first, but in your spirit. You feel it, the shift. It isn't loud, but it is certain. It isn't dramatic, but it is undeniable. Your entire journey up to this point has been a gradual unveiling, a slow uncovering, a revelation unfolding layer by layer. And now you stand here, not as the person who first began this path, but as someone reformed, reborn, reawakened by truth, pain, clarity, and calling. You carry a different posture now, a different awareness, a different energy. You no longer move like someone hoping to be chosen. You move like someone who knows they are chosen. Heaven meets you in this moment with a final word, steady, anchoring, and deeply confirming. The ancient voice speaks again from the sacred text, carrying a truth fit for someone about to step into their destined life. As was spoken in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." This is not reassurance. This is declaration, a seal, a covering, a promise. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into the prepared. God has already walked the road you are about to enter. He has already cleared what needed clearing. He has already aligned what needed aligning. He has already opened what needed opening. He has already removed what could not go with you. Your future is not waiting to be built. It is waiting to be stepped into. You begin to sense the significance of this moment. Everything you've survived has not only made you wiser, but lighter. Not only stronger, but softer. Not only more aware, but more aligned. You have shed the identities that wounded you. You have broken the chains that tried to contain you. You have embraced the warrior that lives within you. You have accepted the mantle resting on your shoulders. You have awakened to the truth that heaven has always whispered about you. And now, you step, not because everything is perfect, not because every question has been answered, not because every fear has vanished, but because alignment has replaced hesitation. Your spirit feels different, clearer, brighter, more resolute. You are not standing at the edge of something fragile. You are standing at the edge of something divine. The threshold is holy because you are crossing into the version of your life God intended all along. You feel courage rising, not the loud courage that shouts, but the quiet courage that walks forward, even when the room is silent. You feel clarity forming not the kind that comes from logic, but the kind that comes from knowing. You feel purpose, humming not as an idea, but as a presence. Your steps begin to sync with heaven's rhythm. Your breath matches the pace of your calling. Your heart opens to the new chapter unfolding before you. Everything that once held you back has lost its power. Everything that once confused you now makes sense. Everything that once wounded you has become wisdom. Everything that once intimidated you now bows to the authority you carry. You walk differently now, not to prove anything, not to impress anyone, but because your spirit is awake, your purpose is active, and your identity is secure. This is what it looks like when a chosen one finally steps into everything they were meant to become. You don't step with fear. You don't step with trembling. You don't step with doubt. You step with fire in your bones, with clarity in your spirit, with authority in your voice, with heaven at your back. This is the version of you the darkness hoped you would never discover. This is the version of you heaven has been waiting for. This is the version of you your future requires. You are not entering the next chapter. You are entering your life. And heaven walks with you, goes before you, strengthens you, covers you, guides you, always. Chosen one. Pause here with me for a moment. Feel what is happening inside you. Feel how different you are now from when this journey began. Not louder, not heavier, but clearer, steadier, truer. You didn't just read a script. You walked through a transformation. You crossed thresholds, faced mirrors, confronted shadows, rose into identity, and stepped into a destiny that was already pulsing beneath your ribs long before these words found you. And now, at the end of this path, something sacred settles inside you. The awareness that you are not returning to who you were. You are not shrinking back. You are not forgetting what awakened in you. You are not placing your crown back on the shelf. You are walking out of this moment with fire in your spirit and truth written across your life. But hear this, your journey does not end here. Your becoming does not stop at this final line. Your calling continues to unfold in every step you take from this day forward. And if this message, this journey, this awakening has poured into you, if it has breathed life into dry places, if it has lit a lamp inside you that you didn't know you still carried, then I invite you, with sincerity, humility, and honor, to help keep this light moving. When you like this message, you keep the flame alive so it can reach the next searching soul. When you share it, you place a torch in someone else's hand, someone who may be one breath away from giving up. When you subscribe, you stay connected to future words meant to strengthen your spirit, guide your steps, and anchor your calling. And when you comment, you leave a footprint on this path, evidence that a chosen one walked here, rose here, awakened here. Write whatever your spirit feels. A word, a sentence, a declaration. Let your comment be a seed, a marker, a spiritual echo. Because you are not walking alone. Chosen ones rise in clusters, one awakened soul lighting the next. So go ahead, leave your mark below. Let heaven and earth both see. You didn't just listen, you became.